Hi everyone, it's Rabbi Dr. Jack Cohen. I hope everyone is well. One of the most pivotal moments in our history as a nation was giving of the Ten Commandments at Har Sinai, at the mountain of Sinai. It's interesting when we look at the pasuk. Hashem orders Moshe and he tells him, "Kotomar lebet Yaakov v'tagid lebnei Yisrael." So shall you speak to the women, and so shall you tell the men. Two obvious questions that the great Zera Shimshon has is, one thing is, why is he speaking to the women, and why did the women come first? It's the men who are learning the Torah. So why are the women being addressed first? And he answers very pointedly that the women play a critical role in the education of their children by sending them to learn. So does the man, Zera Shimshon asks. And then he says beautifully, he says, not only do the women feed and take care of the physical needs of their children, but they raise them spiritually. And that's critical. A woman plays a very critical role in the spiritual nourishment of her children. There's an interesting story that is brought down. In the days of King David, there was a famine of 3 years. King David couldn't understand what's going on. Through prophecy, he was able to determine that it was as a result of the fact that his predecessor, King Shaul, or King Saul, who had been chasing him as a refugee and wanted to kill David because David was going to assume the throne, had wiped out a whole city called Nov, where the priests of the Kohanim used to live. And with them, he took 7 Gibeonites. These were like quasi-converts. And these Gibeonites were recalcitrant. They felt very upset and hurt that 7 of their brothers had been killed, or their co-religionists. They were sort of like fake, sort of somewhat pseudo-Jews. Their conversions were not really sincere. And because they were now so upset about the fact that 7 of them had been killed by King Saul, they refused to be appeased. King David offered them all types of money. And they said no. He said, how will you be appeased? Because without appeasing them, the family wouldn't go away. So they said, no, we want 7 for 7. We want 7 lives. Give us 7 lives, or 7 individuals from the house of Saul, of King Saul. So he had no choice. King David won. He took 2 children from 1 woman. And it says he took 5 children from Michal. Hold on. Michal was David's wife. He wasn't going to take her kids. And then it tells us that Michal actually raised the children of her sister Meirav. Meirav had lost her husband, and as a result, Michal had raised her children. It comes to show us here, raising someone's children is as if they're your own. This is the godless, this is the greatness of Jewish women who take on this awesome responsibility, not just to physically raise their children, but to spiritually raise them and nurture them. As Moses tells us all the time, teach and instruct your children again and again in these parshas. And that is the critical role that's hoisted on the women. That's why the women play the most critical role in the development success of the future of our Jewish nation. Have a wonderful day.